Ryan Mayer here alongside Merrill Hoge, longtime NFL analyst, of course, former Pittsburgh Steeler. And Merrill, obviously, these NFL playoffs, we're going into divisional weekend. It's been a wide open field.
Yeah.
Still 8 teams left. I'm curious, just who you think right now, is there a favorite?
It's probably the first time I think, maybe since I played doing analyst work for ESPN for over 20 years, that I can honestly say, if you put a blindfold around me and gave me all the teams that are up there and I just pointed my finger somewhere, it would be a good odds.
Right.
I'm just telling you, that's how close it is, which makes it spectacular for fans of football. There's just no guarantees. And when you look at the matchups that exist, I mean, this has not been a year where I could say, you know what, I'm definitive on one side or the other, like I have been in the past. When I look at stuff now, it's like, wow.
Right.
Easily, I could come up with all kinds of reasoning that the Chargers can beat the Patriots going on the road.
Sure.
Okay. Way Indianapolis playing, going to Kansas City. Okay. Philly and the things they're doing, going into going to the New Orleans. So it's going to be a fascinating run, and I'm not trying to get out of it because that's
absolutely.
the stuff I love to say.
Absolutely.
If I really said, I know this.
No, you can make arguments both ways, right? You can
I've
make
never
arguments.
had it. I've never seen it. In nearly 30 years where it is that closely matched.
Now, and coming into this weekend, you mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles, and there's been a lot of talk about Nick Foles and the magic of Nick Foles, obviously after that Super Bowl run that he gets them on a winning streak late in the season. I'm just curious what you think of how the Eagles offense has functioned with him versus how the Eagles offense functions with Carson Wentz, and what the biggest difference is this season.
Well, I think Carson actually, when he comes back, he can do some things. There's some throws I've seen Carson make. There are some plays I've seen Carson make that Nick Foles just flat can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the kind of gifted player he is. But I think and keep in mind, I think you got to realize when he was playing, not only did he get hurt again, but they had a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. They're starting to actually get healthier now, ironically, that now Nick Foles is playing. And I think Carson was trying to do too much. Carson was a part of that Super Bowl, but he wasn't the quarterback. And so that'd be a tough position to be in, because even though you won a Super Bowl and you did your part to get him there, quite honestly, you didn't play in that game.
Right.
And I know that he wanted to really validate himself, and sometimes you press real hard when you do that. And I think between that and a lot of the injuries, they were out of sync.
Mm-hmm.
All those injuries, a lot of those guys getting healthier, they're back in rhythm. And this is a rhythm that was less than 12 months ago that they're very comfortable with.
Oh, absolutely.
And there is a truth about, from a playing perspective, when you do get on a rhythm like this, and sometimes it's one that's better when you go on the road, quite honestly, because there's more hostile fans when you're on the road. It's more difficult, and you come together as a team more. And now that he's already done this, he's already got that legit value with these teammates. And the way that he goes about playing puts them in a magical, devastating position. They're going to the Saints, and I guarantee you nobody's picking them to win.
Right.
They
opened as, I think, 9-point underdogs.
Okay, 9-point underdogs. Are you kidding me? The New Orleans Saints are just like, come on, don't do that, because they're not stupid over there.
Right.
They know that team's not playing like it did 4 weeks ago. That's not the same team. That's why I tell fans all the time, you always evaluate a team based on their last 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't look at it at 16, okay? That's what every NFL team, that's what we did every week. How they play in their last 4 games. That gives you the true flavor of what they are and who they are. And if you look at their last 4 weeks, it's the best 4 weeks that they've had all year long. So it'll be, I think it'll be extreme. First of all, I just don't see it being a 9-point game,
Right.
Is it going to be hard to walk into New Orleans and beat them? Yeah, but see, if you look at their last 4 weeks, they haven't played
It's been a little bit different than when
they had a better
met.
4-week stretch. So, timing is an important thing, too. So this one will be a fascinating one. I don't know who – I'm not much of a bettor. I've never really done it.
That's fair. That's fair.
But if I was a bettor, I'd just – 9 points is a lot.
It's
a lot.
It is a lot of points. Now, speaking of fascinating matchups in the AFC, we have Tom Brady, of course, one of the legends of the game at the position, going up against Phillip Rivers, a guy that this year was getting some MVP talk with the way that he was playing and that Chargers team. Rivers hasn't had a lot of success against Brady and the Patriots in his career. They go into Foxborough this weekend. What's the biggest key for them to try and pull out this win?
Well, I've said this a couple times. I haven't said L.A. L.A. Chargers. I've said San Diego many times because I can't shake that. But if you look at them, I heard something come out of their locker room. I don't know if it was a coach or a player. It's when they won on the road. Is they're like, yeah, you know what? We've been on the road for a couple years, and if you think about it, they've really not had a home in L.A.
Right.
Technically, that's like a pit stop before we get to a home.
Right.
Okay. So, and there's some truth to that. From a player's perspective, I can just tell you this: winning on the road in a hostile environment is much more satisfying than winning at home. This, you like to be with your fans, and that's great. But when you do it on the road, there is a sense of confidence and strength that you get from doing that. This team's been doing it for a long time. Does it bother them to go to New England? Nah. I'm telling you, I know the New England Patriots know that too. Bill Belichick's not a dummy. And he's obviously well-schooled, and I know he's pleading with these guys.
Right.
These guys don't care, okay? They win on the road, okay? If we think this is an advantage for us, it is not. Let's not hang our hat on that. That's why we better be buttoned up for this one.
As Melvin Ingram said last week after the game, any squad, any place, ASAP, making a little clever play on words there from Melvin Ingram. So the final thing I want to ask you about is former Pittsburgh Steeler. There's been a lot of let's say, off-field drama around the Steelers this season, whether it was the Le'Veon Bell holdout earlier in the year, now it's Antonio Brown that has been in the news a lot. I'm just curious what you think of the situation right now in Pittsburgh and what fans should be expecting next season from this team. Roethlisberger's older, Brown may want out. Just what is the expectation right now out of Pittsburgh?
Well, you always have to start with accountability. Listen, the ownership can't control players, you know. And then players you always have to realize are accountable no matter how you look at it. See, so when I look at those two guys, Antonio Brown and Bell, I don't think either one of them are going to be there next year. Bell, I know, is not going to be there. I just don't see how you can keep moving on in the way Antonio Brown has handled things.
Sure.
I'm just going to tell you this. Of all the things that he's done, the most disturbing one is having your agent call for you. You're supposed to be a man.
Right.
You're a pro, and you should take pride in that. I'm sure that you want to be treated like a man, and you want to be treated like a pro, then act like one. Don't have your agent call ownership. You got those numbers.
Right.
Walk in that office. You talk to the coach. You talk to ownership. You talk to the trainer. You let them know your needs. I just can't even tell you the rock gut any player or coach who's ever played is just like, I mean, it's just, it's actually unthinkable. I mean, you're better off having your mom call.
Right.
Or if you want to go that route, have your mom call.
Right.
I mean, walk in there like a man and a pro and handle it right. The drama that has been created is as unprofessional as I've seen. You know, and I know that organization. They're not going to sit there and go back and forth. They'll sit down, and the cooler heads will prevail. They look at all the options that they have.
Right.
But it is my feeling that neither one of those guys will be there next year to start it.
Merrill Hoge, as always, thank you for the time.
Anytime, brother.
Folks, check out his book, Brainwashed: The Bad Science Behind CTE and the Plot to Destroy Football. It's available in all bookstores right now.